Hey everyone, this is Shayna from wordofmouth.org, and I'm here with wordofmouth.org crash course speaker, Cam Balzer. Cam, can you tell us a little bit about the case study you'll be talking about on May 10th?
Sure, Shayna. I'm going to be talking about how we at Threadless inspire our community, but really it's a story more about how our community has inspired and led us as a business. We've been a community-driven business for over 11 years since we were founded in 2000, and we've learned some really interesting lessons about what inspires a community and how being completely open and transparent in co-creating our products with our community actually has all sorts of other great word-of-mouth marketing implications.
Awesome. And what are the top 3 lessons people will learn in your session?
Well, there's a bunch of things I'm going to touch on, but I think some of the most important ones are, just to kind of tease a few points here, the power of acting like a real person as a marketer. What happens when you sort of bring down the facades and treat your audience as if they're your friends and you're a real person interacting with them. Pretty closely related to that is the value of starting from a community when you're building a product or a company, how to really kind of get momentum by growing out of an existing community. I'm also going to talk about the power of geeks networking, especially in this social media space that we're living in, and some of the unexpected benefits that you can realize from that. And then finally, the importance of really finding a way to create a word-of-mouth engine at the core of your business. We've been lucky from day one to have a business model that really created sort of a perpetual word-of-mouth machine that's really driven the growth of the company through ups and downs and all sorts of stuff. So those are the key points.
Sounds good. What would you say is the biggest challenge you face in engaging the Threadless community?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is that our community is not a homogenous community. We have artists, we have people who are into t-shirt design, we have people who just love to buy and wear our products. We also have, on the design side, people who are just getting started as designers and who have this great idea for a t-shirt and they think they can just throw it together in Microsoft Paint and slap it onto the site and it's going to make them millions of dollars. So we have everyone from complete newbies all the way up to really established designers. And so one of the things we've been really working on is to understand the different components of the community and to meet each of our community members where they're at. And obviously that has some challenges doing that scaled across a community that has a couple million registered users. But I think there's some productive lessons that I'll have to share from how we're doing that right now.
Cool. And what is your favorite word-of-mouth story of all time?
Well, I had an interesting thing happen to me just a couple of weeks ago. I was presenting to a large team of product managers who work in social media at a large internet company that will go unnamed. And they just wanted to hear from a company that's been working in the social space for a long time, how we do what we do at Threadless and make it work for our community and our customers. And so I was in the middle of giving them all these words of wisdom that I'll be passing along at the crash course, and right in the middle of me talking to this group of 40 people, someone interrupted and said, "Those are really cool socks," and basically made me like lift my foot up above the height of the table that we were all sitting at and show everybody the striped socks with monsters on them that I was wearing. And it was a really cool illustration to me of how word of mouth works the best. And so basically it all started with a product that was cool enough that when someone noticed them, they just couldn't help asking me about them. And then basically that person invited me to give a sales pitch to everybody else in that room about these cool socks that I was wearing. And so I got the floor back to kind of do my sales pitch. And one of the coolest things about it is that the socks that I was wearing are from a company called SockItToMe.com, who actually uses design challenges to source their products. So it reinforced for me the power of using a community to develop products that are so unbelievably cool that other people can't help asking about it. And, sometimes people hear a story like that and say, well, that's no fair because you sell T-shirts, which are a really cool product to begin with, but I sell insurance. And I guess my response, and we'll get into this a little bit in my session, is that really there's no excuse for your products not to be cooler than they are, given how many people there are out there online who would probably be willing to geek out with you and help you figure out as a company or as a person how to make your products cooler, how to make them something that other people want to talk about. So that was just an interesting event that happened to me that really brought home some of the power of what happens at Threadless every day.
I like that. So can you promise us cool socks at the crash course?
I will do my best to wear my cool Sock It To Me socks.
Perfect. And I have to ask, do you have a favorite Threadless T-shirt of all time?
I actually have several favorites that fall into a category that's going to be releasing this week, coincidentally. Every year on or about April Fool's Day, we release some really crazy T-shirts that I think no one would have imagined we would print when they were submitted onto the site, that sometimes gets terrible scores from the community, but that we just think are incredibly awesome for really crazy reasons. And often some of the shirts from that collection are my favorite ones. And in fact, I'm wearing one of the ones from last year today.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to check that out. So that's all the time we have now, but you can come to the wordofmouth.org crash course in Austin on May 10th to hear more from Cam Balzer. In for one day of love, happiness, and word of mouth. Go to wordofmouth.org/crash course to register.